Views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural, metaphysical, paranormal. You know, all those things you've been wondering about? Are you ready to go deeper into the realms of the unknown? I hope you've got your walking shoes on, because life is an adventure, and this is the journey. Come on, let's go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Journey Radio Show. I'm Jen Cruz, your host, and we're showing up as the She-Squatchers. I've got my trusty teammate, Jenna Grover. Hey, Jenna.
Well, hello, 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 everybody. And that was for Tammy because she likes to say that. She's not here
Yes.
today.
Yes, Tammy couldn't join us tonight because she is in Missouri. She took off for a quick road trip to Missouri, and where she's at, there's no internet and no cell service. So we had to go on without her. But she wanted to wish everybody a happy Wednesday and hello to Dave, she said. And she can't wait to watch the show when she gets her internet back. So, anyways, we've got an awesome guest for you tonight. We've got Dave Dominique from Michigan. And he is one of the people that was with us at that Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Michigan Bigfoot expedition that we were on this summer. And it was a fabulous time. I'm just going to say he makes a mean chili. It's so good. It's so good. So let's welcome Dave
Thank
to the
you.
show. Hi, Dave.
Thank you, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. You guys are way too gracious. Chili was good, though. I
It
do have to
was.
admit, chili was good.
It was
Uh,
amazing.
It
it
was
was
really good. I was like, I need to figure that out because my chili isn't that good compared to yours. I was kind of disappointed when I made mine. I was like, oh, it's not like Dave's.
it's a great time up there. I'll tell you what, we had a really good conference and an even better expedition up north at our undisclosed location near Paradise, Michigan. Which does have a history of sightings, just not of cryptids, but cats, bear, wolves, coyotes, just everything in the woods out there. And you look at the woods, it is just a sea of trees that goes on forever. It is just amazing there. I love it.
You know, one thing I noticed up there is that you could possibly easily get lost up there. So if you do ever enter those areas, make sure you have a compass and make sure you don't go alone. At least that's my personal opinion. What do you think about people going out there alone?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Don't go out there alone. If you do go out there alone, yeah, I think it's reserved for the experts to be out there alone by themselves. Um, Definitely, um, there are a lot of places where there are cell phone outages, where you have zero cell phone signal, which means compass on cell phone won't go. You have to go in order find out where you're at a lot of times. Definitely go get the state of Michigan trail guides are a help. Have some decent maps with you, things of that nature to find your way back and find yourself around. If you're going to go out like that, there's people that hike the Northern Trail. They call it. It goes all along the north edge of the Upper Peninsula and even goes to the lower. But they hike that, and it takes like a week and a half to hike, and that's staying on the trail. And what we're talking about here with our research and things we did, they were fairly off trail and out in the middle of there.
It was awesome. I had never been to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan before then, and I gotta say, it's beautiful. It looks a lot like northern Minnesota up in the wooded areas. Um, so I felt very much at home up there. I did. The only thing that was like seriously very, very different for me was the cell service. I mean, lack of cell service. Oh, crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. There's different providers that have better cell service in the area than others, but ultimately, when you go out in the woods, don't depend on any kind of cell service whatsoever. You're not going to have it. Uh, Satellite phone, maybe, other means, communication. Just the good old fashioned meetup, meet you at this trailhead at this date and time, and be there. And certainly that happens. There's a lot of snowmobiling, there's a lot of ATV people up north as well, but you really don't see them. We didn't see another person the entire time we were out there, actually.
That's true. That's true. Well, Dave, I'd like for the listeners to know a little bit about you. I know that you're a retired federal agent. Would you want to give them a little bit on your background?
Yeah, sure. Like you said, I'm a retired federal agent. I spent my career in law enforcement. I had started as a local police officer, worked in a jail, taught college. I went and got a bachelor's, master's degree, and was studying for my PhD when the feds hired me. Worked for one of the big three-letter agencies, and I got earmarked. I got voluntold actually to go to computer forensic school. Is one of the schools they sent me to. So I did digital and computer forensics, and I am a expert witness for computer and digital forensics in not only state courts but federal courts as well. I worked national security cases as well as cyber cases. I had top secret and above security clearances in order to get a job. I retired. I started hiking the woods of North Michigan, and I had a few experiences that made me really stop and think, wonder what's going on out here. Just really strange things. And it prompted me to want to find answers. I want answers for these things, so I kept hiking more. I can't say that I had many more encounters, but the encounters that I did have were very interesting. I can't explain. Can't explain what happened. I can't explain what it was again, but being the inquisitive type here, a former federal agent and investigator, I want answers.
We all want answers.
Yes, but wow, what a background, what a plethora you have behind you of information. It's just amazing. I'm just wowed out by your history, your past. What
Yeah,
would Oh, I was just going to ask you, what made you want to retire? I mean, was it anything about maybe wanting to look into some of these answers, or did it have nothing to do with it whatsoever? You just wanted, it was time to stop.
nothing to do with it whatsoever. You can have a job like that, but ultimately, um, ultimately, it takes its toll on you physically. It takes its toll on you emotionally, mentally. You can have a job like that, but that's what it ends up being. And it's a matter of, being around for your family when kids are growing up and things like that, and versus being gone all the time. I was on detail quite a bit, and out of town quite a bit. So there's a lot of choices you make in all of it.
Well, thank you very much for your service.
Yeah,
I was
thank
just going
you.
to say that. She's on my brainwave.
Oh, sorry. I'll get off. No, I'm kidding.
Well, we both thank you for your service, Dave. We really, I am truly thankful for all military and federal agents and police officers for the jobs that they do. A lot of people don't understand how hard that is on people, and I get it.
Absolutely. For everyone involved, thank you. It does take its toll on everyone involved. I worked child exploitation for a long time. That just really ran its toll on me, especially having kids at about the same age of and things. That was a difficult part of the job. So anyway,
Definitely.
I'm happy to be retired and happy to be out hiking and happy to be out doing things that are a lot better.
Healthier.
About a lot better to have going ahead than these stuff. So in terms of the stuff that I've had happen and sightings that I've had happen and incidents that I've had happen, I can say in 2017, I was camping at Akiak Falls in Michigan, and I had heard across the river, and this is like the biggest waterfall in lower Michigan, and it's a river, a spring-fed river, and it runs through. There's a campground just on the bank of the river. Campground is primitive campground, electricity. You have your fire. You have cats that can come through the campground in the middle of the night. You keep your fire to keep the bears and cats and stuff away, and you hang your food up and everything. But towards the evening, I had heard whoops and yahoos, and they were kind of like backwards yahoos. I can't exactly describe it. But they were backwards yahoos and whoops that I could not attribute to any kind of animal that I had experienced out in the woods up until that point, including bear. I've run into bears hiking. I would go out hiking by myself. I have my bear poking stick. And I had not run into any kind of animal. I did some research. Trains. I did some research on birds. I did some research on other. Really nothing out that I heard. Really, I talked to forgive me, I forget his name here. The Sierra Sounds guy.
Ron Moorhead.
Ron Moorhead, yes, when he was in Ohio, and I told him, stuff you did. That's what I heard. I tried to record it on my iPhone. I such good luck with it, but I had stones at that on that occasion that night tossed into camp from across the river, and they were stones. They were not rocks. They were playfully. I would pick up stones. I tossed them back, and it was. I whooped a little bit. Again, I was not at that point any kind of researcher. I was not at that point any than the average person off the street. I just thought it was interesting. So, and I had stones thrown at my tent, and that was just very interesting. I went back there one other time this past year and had no other experiences. I was driving home from Ypsilanti, Ohio, down to my home near Monroe. It is wooded area. It's area that is farmland. It runs along a river. There's a lot of them, but I was driving along and it just seemed like surreal. Like all of the lights went out in the entire area, like all the farm lights, you know, how the farms have the lights in the barns and everything. It's like there was, and my headlights were the only thing illuminating the road. Well, I kept driving, and off to the left, the side of the road, I saw two huge glowing red eyes. And I saw in the background to the horizon, I saw the shadows of something that was very big, very large conical head, very wide shoulders, very large, very, very broad shoulders. I don't know what it was. You know, people, the eyes themselves seem like they were bioluminescent. That is, they illuminate themselves. And I've been asked by people off of the Bigfoot shows on TV, even, you know, is it a chance that it could have been your headlights or anything like that? But it wasn't. I consider it a cryptid sighting. What it was, again, I don't know, but I want answers. Was it a Bigfoot? I don't know. Was it a Wendigo? I don't know. Was it something other than that? I don't know. I even had a friend who's a Reiki master tell me do some research on the Archangel Azrael, which I did do. So I looked for all sorts of answers and everything. It was a couple of months later, I made my report to Mark Hearn from the Michigan Sasquatch Project and to Michigan legendary researcher Bob Daigle. And I met with them. I gave them my report. I went out. It was a couple of months before I could even go back out to the area again. It was just way too much for me to even try to stomach. And the encounter was just really surreal. It was incredible. I know what I saw. I don't know what it was, but I know what I saw. So after I had reported it to Mark Hearn and Bob Daigle, I got in with a Michigan research group. I got in with Bob Daigle, Mark Hearn. I got in with Val Zavala, another researcher as well, and Chad Datema, and ultimately the Lost Cryptids Conservatory, which we would go out and do field research in the matter. And I just wanted answers. I just wanted to know what I saw.
It is kind of addictive when you get a taste of it and that curiosity kicks in. You just want to keep going back and finding more answers. And for me, and I think Jenna will agree, whenever we go out and we find more, it just encourages more questions than we actually feel like we've received answers. We have more questions than we had before. And so it's just this never-ending cycle that I'm kind of thankful for, because it's something to be passionate about. A lot of people just live their lives just going to work and paying their bills, and they don't really have anything that they are passionate about. And this is something I'm definitely passionate about. And I think other people get that way too. And so definitely understand that.
I can tell you, as being a federal agent and everything, you look at the world differently. And really, I bring the movie The Matrix up here because you have Neo, he's driving along in the car, looking at the outside world, right? And how he can see the outside world is different from what the people in the outside world see the world as. And that's really how it is. And what I can tell you is what I've done, and the government's not going to like this. They're probably going to be all over me. They'll be knocking at my door. They'll be following me. They'll be pinging my phone. But I'm going to say it anyway. Only about 10% of what actually happens out there is ever about 10% of anything, and we're talking world politics, we're talking world affairs, we're talking cryptids, we're talking UFOs, we're talking everything. The government wants to keep the people in the dark, wants to keep the people fat, dumb, and happy, so they don't know any different, because that allows them more control over whatever it is that they're being involved in at that point.
Do you think it's because they think that people can't handle the truth, that they would stop functioning normally and stop going to work and whatever if they knew all of what was happening?
I can tell you from personal experience, there's things that have happened that would scare the pants off most people. That's for sure. Now, politically, paranormally, whatever, there's a difference here. Okay. Um, the things that would scare the pants off of people, the government definitely doesn't want out there. And if, for instance, if there's another hominid out there that yet remains unidentified by science in North America and other places in the world, the government would probably not want to do it.
You broke up there. Can you repeat that, Dave?
Yeah, I said if there is a hominid or anything out in North America that people out, the government probably would not want them about it. It would scare the public. So to a degree, can the public handle this stuff? No, they can't. Only 10% of the stuff that actually happens out there found out about, is known about, is reported in the news, is known in the general discourse of knowledge, the general knowledge bank that everyone shares in not only this country but the world.
I can believe that for sure. For sure.
Me too.
Definitely.
Very much so.
I think it's interesting that during the whole mix of COVID happening that they started releasing more information about UFOs. I found that interesting.
I did too.
Why do you
That
think
was
they
very
did that?
interesting.
Why do you think they did that at that time?
I don't know. I think that during COVID especially, they were trying to keep the public at bay, because you noticed more shows were coming on that more movies, more stuff like that in terms of entertainment to keep, again, the population fat, dumb, and happy. But I think in terms of other information as well, release a little bit more information just to give it more, to make people happy a little bit more, to give them the carrot on the stick. what I can tell you, and this is pretty much a first on radio and pretty much a first on webcast and everything. I had back in the days when I was a police officer, I was off duty, had my wife dating then with me in the car, driving in Ohio, a highway, around a turn in the curve highway, and I looked up and I saw this huge, had to be at least a couple 100 yards in length, if not more, cigar-shaped UFO hanging in the sky at a 45, 55 angle, hanging there. I went around the corner. I said, "Hey, can you see that? Do you see that? Do you see that?" She couldn't see it. We went around the corner, and then the thing was gone. Dang it! I know what I saw, and it wasn't until about 2008 that I saw on YouTube. And you guys can look it up for yourselves. It's called UFO over England, and it is exactly the same thing that I saw in Ohio in 1999, and it just sent shivers down my spine. I thought, okay, when I saw it, okay, maybe there's something with the rods and cones in my eyes, maybe a cone burned out in one of my eyeballs, caused me to see something, or maybe it wasn't really there. But here this guy got it on YouTube. He got the exact same thing in England that I saw in Ohio on YouTube. How can this be?
So do you think your wife just missed? I know it's so easy to miss. Someone could say, "Hey, look up there," and they can point, and you've got a vast sky to look from, and you're trying to pick out something tiny. So do you think that's what happened with your wife, that she just didn't see it, or do you think maybe it was something that you were able to see because of the knowledge that you had?
I really don't know. I can't answer for that, and
Was
that's
it
a great
close, Dave?
question. But what I can tell you, it was not tiny. It was over the tree line, and the thing was fairly sizable in our view. So I really couldn't believe that she couldn't see it at the time.
I totally
And
understand how that could happen because I
it,
understand the brain.
it was just really bizarre in that respect. And she said, "No, I didn't see it." But later, again, like 2008, it was on the internet, and it blew my mind. It totally blew my mind.
I bet.
I know now. I knew what I saw at the time, but having confirmation
Yeah.
is another level of believing.
Well, I bet you just felt so validated at that point, because until that point, you really had questioned your own senses, and that's hard because I've questioned my own senses to think, did I really see that? Oh my gosh, am I really seeing that? Is that real? You know.
Yeah,
So
totally, totally. And I showed the video to everybody I knew at that point. Hey, this is what I saw. This is it. This is what I saw. This is what I saw and described in 1999. This is exactly it. And it was just really amazing. Someone over in England captured on video what I saw years before Ohio, and it's the same dang thing.
That is awesome.
So I
You
would
know,
answer.
there
I'm retired. I'm a retired federal investigator. And the UFO question is different. It's separate than the Bigfoot question, I think. In terms of there being some sort of primate or hominid that's unknown in North America versus things living out in the universe, which I think the preponderance of the evidence with recent scientific discovery just in the past few years, where there's well over 4, probably 6,000 Earth-like planets They do the math and they come up with hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Earth-like planets nearby. So why wouldn't life be common? So that's kind of my train of thought in it. Now, whether or not they can get here, I don't know. That's another question. What did I see? I'm not sure.
Well, on that note, we have to take our break. We'll be back in just 2 minutes. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back with Dave Dominique.
Thank you.
Awesome. You're doing good. We're still recording.
You are.
Everything
You are.
is going to be on YouTube when we're done, but they can't hear us on the
Yeah.
radio now.
Uh,
So good job. I really think
Yes.
that's an interesting thing with your UFO sighting. That's really cool. And did you know that there are actually petroglyphs that are shaped like cigars
yes.
that are ancient, where the natives had been carving these pictures into stone and making pictographs of that. So I think that's something that probably has been around for a long time. Been visiting.
Let me hit a break really quick. I'll be right
Okay.
back.
All right. Jenna.
Yes, Jen. I'm so tired. I've got to wake up. Wake up.
I've got my energy drink.
I've got my water. My
I'm trying to show
water.
you. my
I
energy.
see. You know, I've got 2 of those in my car. I have 2 of those in my refrigerator in case you visit.
Are they the orange kind? Oh, you're so awesome, Jenna.
I know your favorite. Hello.
Yes. Thank
And
you.
I know you like my sandwiches, so got
Jenna
plenty of
makes
meat.
good sandwiches.
I'm a good cooker.
You are. I saw somebody, I'm going to send you a picture of it. One of my Facebook, 30 seconds. One of my Facebook friends shared a picture of her supper that she came home to tonight. And it was this fancy ramen. And I want it.
Yes. Please share.
I
I could go for some ramen. I haven't had ramen noodles for a long time. Really
It
good
looks
ramen
nothing
noodles.
like ramen, Jenna. Look at this.
Oh,
Welcome back to the show, everyone. This is the Journey Radio Show, and we are the She-Squatchers. Won't you check us out online at she-squatchers.com? And at the top of the page, you're going to find a place to look for our events. Would you click on that and see where we're going to be going? I have to tell you that our next 3 events were actually canceled and pushed into 2022. So we've got new dates on there. It's all updated on our website, so you can check that out. And we're going to be in Washington twice in the spring, and also we're going to be in North Carolina. So please come out and see us there. If you can, we'll be on both coasts. So hey, somewhere we'll be close by.
You'll
Unless
see
you're in
us
the middle.
somewhere.
Unless you're in the middle, which is where we live. So
Yes.
anyway, we'll figure it out. And hey, we're on YouTube. Would you please subscribe to our YouTube channel at She-Squatchers Official? We are still in that YouTube subscriber race with that other YouTuber who challenged us to a duel of who can have more subscribers. And so please come subscribe to our channel and help us win. We don't just want to win, we want to stomp. So Jenna, give him your mean face, Jenna. Give him your mean face. She's good at the mean. Oh, I wish everybody could see your face right now. That's not a mean face. That's just funky.
That's probably everybody will probably tune in just to see my face. That was really gross. I think I got a look of what I just looked like, and I thought, why'd you do that, Jenna? Now everybody's gonna see you. Gross.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
But I did it. I am what I am. I am what I am.
That's right.
Well,
That's
okay.
right. That's right. So, and we're also on Facebook and Instagram at She-Squatchers Official. So please come like and follow us there for all the up-to-date what's going on with us. Really quick, I'm going to say we're going to be on a show tomorrow. So we're going to be posting on our Facebook page where we're going to be and where you can tune in live because somebody has stabilized our thermal Bigfoot. We have Bigfoot footage that we did of a thermal and they have stabilized it and tweaked the colors so it's super clear. And that's gonna be shared on that live show tomorrow. So we'll be posting that in the morning on our Facebook page. So please come and watch that live with us. So watch our Facebook page for that notification as well. So tonight we've got Dave Dominique, and he is a retired federal agent who has become interested in Bigfoot, cryptids, and all of their curiosities. And he's our friend, and we think he's super cool. We got to go Bigfooting with him out in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan this summer. We were so fortunate to be with him and so many other amazing people. So we've got Dave on the show tonight to share his experiences and thoughts and what he's found and what he's experienced and what he feels about that. So welcome back again to Dave Dominique. Hi, Dave.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah. So before we went to break, you were telling us about the cigar-shaped UFO that you had seen in person. And I just want to say that I understand how you could see that and your wife didn't see it, because I know, well, I probably didn't say this during our presentation in Michigan, but I know that I said it in Tennessee. So the human brain, which I've been studying since the 90s, actually the human brain is consciously aware of 2,000 bytes of information per second, but it's actually processing 400 billion bytes of information per second. So what are the chances that everybody is consciously aware of the same tiny little bit of 2,000 bytes out of the 400 million that they're actually subconsciously aware of? The chances that everyone's aware of the same thing is almost nil. So one person could see one thing and another person might not see that at all. And I've actually experimented with that over the years, asked people, when's the last time you saw fireflies, when there are fireflies right there twinkling away in the tree? And they're like, oh, I haven't seen fireflies for years. And I'm like, really? I think I saw one in that tree over there, and I directed them to look at the tree, and it took them quite a little bit of concentration to find the firefly when it was twinkling and twinkling and twinkling like crazy. I'm like, pretty sure there's more in there. And, they really have to look for it in order to become consciously aware of it. So that is something that really explains to me why some people see things and become aware of it and other people do not become aware of it, even though they are subconsciously seeing it.
Well, and isn't that the case? Don't they do that to show people that they are not catching specifics about even in crime? David, did you ever show classes? I know you taught kids in school and everything. Did you ever teach them about their specific ability to catch detail, like say that person that runs by in the green shorts, blue shirts,
totally.
kind of a thing?
Absolutely. We did cognitive studies like that, and one of the analogies that I would throw out there is that there can be a car accident at an intersection. Middle of the intersection, you have 4 people, one each standing on each corner of the intersection. Each person will report something different entirely. However, they will all be exactly correct. Now think about that. In terms of what I did when I retired, I called the local paper from down in Ohio, and I basically told them what I had seen, what happened, and whatever. I don't know if they ever published it or not, but it's off my chest. But I can tell you, as law enforcement, retired law enforcement, former law enforcement, if you come out with a sighting, if you come out with a report, if you come out with something that happened to you, you will be ridiculed. If you hold a security clearance, they're going to pull that security clearance, which means you lose your job. It's often a career-ending thing.
So we're scared silent.
Yes, exactly. To make such a report about anything really, paranormal, UFO, Bigfoot, anything that could be out there. And I believe, that, we have our scientific knowledge of this world is only a few hundred years. 500 years ago, the atom would have been seen as magic. Germs would have been seen as
Witches or
evil. Exactly, and now we know them to be what they are. Imagine 500 years from now, the kind of understanding we're going to have about science is totally different than what now. So things that we cannot explain now might well be explained within a new scientific paradigm, new scientific understanding 500 now.
but what
And
about
I think that's where we're at with a lot of the Bigfoot, UFOs, ghosts, anything of that nature, is that 500 years from now.
yeah. Well, and I was just wondering because you had
Are
mentioned
you
500.
there?
Can you hear me?
We are here,
Yes.
Dave. Can you hear us? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. No, I was just going to mention, 500 years in the future and everything that possibly, we may know in the future is probably going to be phenomenal. The problem that I have that's happening right now is I think we're losing our humanity. And if we continue this road of moving forward and forgetting who we are as far as being human, that's when I think there is going to be a problem. Do you think there is going to be a problem with that when we go so much into the science that we're forgetting about the human?
I think that science and technology will overshadow who we are as humans or who we were. I think it is imperative to keep a connection to the environment, to keep a connection to old to oceans, land. Um, I think it's an atrocity the fact that you go to a place out in the Pacific Ocean that is nothing but Walmart bags, fire bags, plastic milk jugs, plastic trash, plastic, and this thing is as big as a state, and that we're just kind of damaged here. I think George Carlin said it well. The comedian George Carlin, the late George Carlin, he said that the Earth is not going to go anywhere. The Earth is going to be fine. It's been through volcanoes. It's been through comets. It's been through asteroids. It's been through hurricanes, typhoons. It's been through everything. The Earth isn't going to go anywhere. We are. We're going to be the ones.
I can agree with that. I've got a question in the chat room for you, Dave. Sherry wants to know, do Bigfoot areas correlate with frequent missing persons areas?
Wow. You end up with the whole David Pallades thing, the missing 411 thing, and from what I could read initially, and admittedly, I didn't go too deeply in research done in the missing 411 series, but it seems as though that a lot of the people that end up missing, they're like 75 health issues, and there's always some other factors that play into it. Now, are these things, whatever they are, protected in the national parks? Does the National Park Service know about it? Probably. Are they protected? Probably. Are problem animals, be it bear, be it elk, be it wolves, be it whatever, taken care of from our national park system? I believe so. Whatever that animal is. So, having said that, if people come up missing and it's the result of an unknown animal, I fully well believe that the government to take care of that animal, take care of that threat to the campers and to the public, to keep them in um, keep them in bliss, and ignorant bliss, as far as being out enjoying their cookout.
I totally understand and can relate to that idea for sure, for sure.
Ignorance is bliss. I'm afraid I go there quite often myself. I hate it, but I love it.
For sure, for sure.
There's a place in Michigan, it's Bliss, Michigan, and they have a huge Woodstock kind of concert there every year. And maybe next time you guys come to Michigan, that's one of the things we hit up while you're here. But we could all find ourselves in Bliss. That would be a great thing.
Wouldn't it be fun all to be in bliss together? Oh my gosh, I'm so up.
Oh yeah.
I'm so up for it.
And we avoided going to Hell, Michigan.
I've been there, and there's an ice cream store, and then they have, of course, the standard souvenir shop. I've been to Hell, Michigan, been to Hell and back, and that stuff. So we had a report not too far from there where we went out and had done some research on a supposed sighting that we had. And that particular sighting, we had woods that there was an upgrade to a road, and while the person seemed credible, it also seemed as though there could have been an individual walking on that road as well, that could explain the sighting. It was set the case. I don't know, but I have to consider it as a possibility.
For sure. And always take reports with a grain of salt. And being able to like use your intuition to see how people are really feeling about what they're telling you too. Most of the time people are really believing what they're telling you. They believe 100%. So did are could they be perceiving it incorrectly? Could it have been an assumption? Because sometimes people who are looking for Bigfoot, they get out there and everything in the woods is Bigfoot. Every little growl is big, and
The
we know that
stick
that's
that
not the
growls.
case. We know that's not the case. So
Let
but
me let me tell you, when I had my 2018 roadside encounter, where I saw the bioluminescent red eyes, what I can tell you is that there was a primal fear projected upon me that was not my own fear. It didn't belong to me. It was not mine. I did not own it. Something trying to project its fear on as I drove by this thing. I kept driving down the road, and about a half mile down the road, it took me, and I had to decide whether or not to go back. And I decided to leave well enough alone. But people definitely believe what they see and they hear. Can they be mistaken? Sure, absolutely. I think a number of psychological studies have been done to show that the human memory is not infallible. However, when you run into such a traumatic incident, it is imprinted upon the mind in such a way that the details are preserved.
yes, I agree. If it's traumatic like that, it definitely likes to stick with you. Just like dreams. Like people can have a really good dream, but they generally don't remember all the details later. But if you have a really scary dream, you remember it. You remember that scary dream.
And it doesn't have to be scary to remember it. Intensity of the dream, I think, is what really, but yeah, I'm totally with you. You do remember those dreams, and sometimes they're so much fun.
Because I don't like the scary ones so much, and especially when I wake up and I can see the spider. that was in my dream, and now it's on my ceiling running at me. And it's
You know
not
what?
really there.
My mom taught me a long time ago. She said, Jenna, she said, if you don't like the dream you're dreaming, wake up, go back to bed and dream it right. Dream it how you want to dream it. And I tell you, your mind is such a powerful thing. I very rarely have bad dreams because of it. So it's incredible. Try it if you can.
I learned
I
to stomp my
certainly
foot,
will.
to wake myself up. 'Cause I used to be falling in my dreams all the time, like endless falling. When I was a teenager, I would have I could fly, but I would also fall. And then when I would fall, it would be like this endless falling feeling. And I learned to stomp my foot, and then I would land and wake up. Yeah. Yeah. We got off track there, didn't we, Dave?
Just
Sorry.
a little bit. Just a little bit. It's fine. Well,
It happens.
the 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 real story, the real backstory behind this encounter, that I was driving home. Then afterward, I took the wrong exit highway. One exit I had was quicker to get home. However, I took the wrong exit, and I ended up at a stoplight in AFib. This after happened, and my heart stopped pumping evenly. And when you stop having blood go to your brain, you definitely know what it feels like. And this was and my first question is, well, how long can you breath? Because about how long you got. You've got to do something like that. So I fist and I hit us 7 times really hard, very, very hard. My rib cage hurt afterward. But I was lucky enough that 2 miles down the road to the hospital, and I was able to get to this hospital. By the time I got there, my hands and my feet were turned blue from everything that happened. And again, this fear that was projected upon me, it started on the right side of my chest, went left side of my chest, up and down, and again my feet and hands turned. But I ended up in the hospital that night, and it was just something very scary, I like a predator after me. It was very, very amazing. I've never had anything like that happen to me before. I've never had anything like that.
That's
So,
just so scary.
Dave, did you say that because this happened, you took the wrong exit?
I don't know why I took the wrong exit, but I took the exit that was not fastest to get home. I ended up taking the wrong exit, which put me about 3 miles, luckily, from a hospital. Otherwise, I was dead. I was able to make it to the hospital barely, and I'll tell you what, I don't tell people this. I'll tell you guys this. It's out there now. But I went to the hospital, and I am like in my steering wheel, and I slumped down, and I'm thinking, man, if you don't get up, you don't get into the hospital right now, gone. And I looked up, and I saw, leaning against the wall of the hospital, a shadow person that blinked in and blinked out. And then I got out of the car as quickly as I could, got into the hospital, sat in the waiting room for just a brief period of time, tried to take a picture of myself with my cell phone, thinking, death is following me. this thing is following me. I'm going to take a picture of it. I tried to take a selfie of myself. My phone froze. It froze on the camera, and it is never frozen. I have the same phone now, never frozen before, frozen since. On the camera, not take a picture. They called me back, took very good care of me. I'm here today. I'm very lucky. And that was my experience. And like I said, I don't put it out there, but it's out there now.
I totally believe that when people are in the state where they are approaching the gateway of death, that there's a period of time where you're kind of in two worlds at once, where you're able to be aware of some of those other things more so than you are normally when you're just living your life. And I think that can be true for everybody, because if you talk to nurses who work in hospitals, who work with patients that are readily dying, on a regular basis, I always ask them in private, what have you seen? Because if you're working with patients who are dying quite frequently, what have you seen that made you go, And they always say that, when a person gets closer to death, they start seeing things that other people can't.
Yes. I know I'm very close to a nurse hospice. Has story after story, just like that. That is absolutely true, absolutely correct. Again, I know what I saw, what happened. I can't change any of that, but knowing what it is, try to make sense of it. And again, that's why I do what I do.
And that's all you can do with it, Jenna's had a near-death experience, so she knows that there's more on the other side for sure. She's been there and come back. So, and she was different. I knew her before that, knew her after that. She's a different person now than she was then.
I am.
Before that happened.
Exactly. It changes you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it changes the outlook and what you're actually seeing. Instead of what you think is important, you're seeing the more real important part of life, and that's living and love.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all going to be responsible one day, so you better watch out, guys and girls. Just saying. I've been there.
That's totally right. And
Yeah.
Well, you're a miracle, and that's beautiful.
Thank you. Again, I'm just happy to be here, happy to be around for my family and watch my kids grow up and stuff like that. So
I'm thankful you're here too, Dave. That I'm very thankful for that.
And hey, we had such a great time up to Lake Superior. That last night you guys were in the Upper Peninsula. That was so awesome.
We did. Here I am.
Here I am.
Here I am.
Here I am. Yes. We were all in the car, and Jen started to do a
video. I told everybody, be quiet. I'm doing a video, and I was doing a video of the lighthouse, and I was waiting for it to turn around so I could say something about the light from the lighthouse. So I made everybody be quiet. I said, "Here I am," and because I didn't say anything else right away, everybody just burst up laughing like, "That's it." It was
Here
funny.
I am.
Here I am.
We were like, okay.
What an amazing time that was. I would love
yeah.
to do it again sometime, just the way we did it. And it was a great expedition. We got a lot of great evidence.
And we've been posting it. You can go see Dave on our YouTube channel. We've got videos of him on there. And we are at the end of the show, Dave. Is there a place that people could find you? Do you want people to find you?
At this point here, I'm fairly independent. So as far as people finding me, I'm in Michigan. And I'm associated with 168 Hours with Bigfoot Odyssey, and also with Jason Kenzie and his Searching for Sasquatch, and a few of the things that we've done. And we're going to be out there a little bit more, and hopefully with you guys and other people like you and Jason and everyone. It has just been really great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dave. Good night,
Thank
everyone.
you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.